Sorry, but I took the wonderful fiancé. Are you upset? Jealous? Why do those who can only look down on others end up with such ugly expressions? The once cute face of Angela seemed twisted in front of me, as if it were a lie. Not just towards me, but she looked down on my husband as well, along with her own partner. My anger reached its peak, surpassing my patience. My name is Kim. I'm 27 years old and work at a printing company. I don't operate the big machines, though. My department is in design, where we think up and design flyers and catalogs for various industries based on our clients' requests. Even though the number of prints has decreased due to digitization, the design work is busy and fulfilling. Fortunately, the number of clients who request me has increased. The flyer for the Christmas event you designed was a hit because it was so cute. Hearing that makes me truly happy. My work could be considered my reason for living. I thought I might end up single for life, dedicated to my job. But then one day, my father was hospitalized for appendicitis. It was during a visit to see him that a young doctor greeted me, asking if I was there for a visit. That doctor, Ted, is now my boyfriend and recently became my fiancé. Life is unpredictable, you never know where you'll find a connection. Even though I used to say I was dedicated to my work, the moment marriage was on the table, I found myself buying wedding magazines. Sitting in the living room, flipping through the pages with a cup of coffee, when suddenly, a hand reached out, snatching the magazine away. Hey. What's this? A wedding magazine? Why are you looking at something like this? It's none of your business, Angela. It was Angela, my sister, who is 2 years younger than me, who suddenly took the magazine from me. You getting married, huh? Look in the mirror before you say that. You'd better understand your own worth. Unlike you, I've never been without a boyfriend. Oh, and about my current boyfriend. No one was listening, but she began bragging about her boyfriend. Angela has always been like this. Unlike me, with my plain face, Angela has a very cute face and has always been popular. Everyone around Angela indulged her, except for our parents and me. Her world was filled with yes, men, constantly affirming her every action and word. As a result, Angela came to view herself as the center of the universe. This arrogance led her to start looking down on me, her older sister, somewhere along the way. Don't come near me. I might catch your ugliness. No matter how much you study with that brain, you won't get good grades. Why bother with such futile efforts? I got confessed to again. Being too popular is such a hassle. You must be jealous, not being popular at all, she would say. Even when our parents scolded her severely, it was too late. Angela's character didn't change, and the verbal abuse towards me never stopped. As adults, she now addresses me disrespectfully. Fed up with Angela's boyfriend bragging, I finally said, I do have a boyfriend, actually, we're engaged. I'm looking at this magazine because we're getting married soon. Her actions halted at my words. She looked at me intently and then smirked sarcastically. Wow, there's actually someone out there with such poor taste. What did he see in someone like you? He said he likes my energy and brightness. That sounds fake. You're probably just treated like a housemaid. I'm going to keep working, so he knows I can't be the perfect housewife. Angela reacted with exaggerated surprise to that. What? You're going to continue working even after you get married? Poor thing, you must be marrying a poor man. Those words irked me. It seems she can't be satisfied unless she's looking down on me. Money isn't an issue. He's a doctor and doesn't have any problem with income. It's just that I want to continue working. After I retorted, Angela fell silent. Sighing, I went back to my room, unaware of her meaningful mutter, a doctor, huh, interesting. When the topic of marriage came up, the first thing to do was, of course, to meet the parents. Ted came to my house for the introduction. The atmosphere changed instantly from cordial to tense the moment Angela appeared. "Oh, so this guy is your fiancé? He's quite handsome." "Angela, weren't you supposed to be out? Cancel plans when my sister's fiancé is visiting?" Obviously. I was relieved, albeit accidentally, that Angela wasn't around. I had a bad feeling because, in the past, when we were still students, she had stolen my boyfriend several times. After becoming an adult, I hadn't had a boyfriend. And Angela continued to move from one boyfriend to the next, so such incidents hadn't occurred. Though it was troubling that Angela had returned, I hoped, now that she was an adult, she wouldn't do something like stealing my fiancé. Yet, Angela was overly familiar with my fiancé, and Ted seemed to blush. Confirming my worst fears, can we pretend the engagement never happened? I've decided to break up with you and date Angela instead. I never thought I'd have my boyfriend stolen by Angela even as an adult. Sorry for taking your fiancé. But it can't be helped, right? He was so into me because I'm cuter and more attractive. Being cute is such a crime. Angela's words were anything but an apology. And her smug, condescending attitude was infuriating. Ted, now my ex-fiancé, laughed and added, "Really, I had no idea you had such a cute sister. If I knew, I wouldn't have engaged you. Lucky it's before the wedding." At that moment, seeing his twisted smile, any feelings I had for him vanished completely, leaving only disgust. I'm glad too that I won't be marrying someone like you. A man who easily goes to another woman can be gifted to Angela with a bow on top. What a sore loser. Really. Such an unattractive woman till the end. It wasn't out of bitterness, but a sincere thought, though it seemed lost on their deluded minds. Spending any more time with you two is a waste. Goodbye. Keep your sore loser comments to yourself. Talking to you is a waste of time. Won't see you ever again. Bye. They looked down on me till the very end as they left. Later, my furious parents banned them from the house. And though I heard they got married through the grapevine, I couldn't care less. 3 years after separating from Angela and her husband, I turned 30 and was still diligently working. During this time, a client named Steve started to appreciate my work and became a repeat client. As Steve and I talked through our work, he asked me out to dinner, then to a date. And during one of our dates, he asked me to be his girlfriend. I was genuinely happy. Steve seemed very sincere, and I believed he wouldn't do what my previous boyfriend did. Yet, the trauma from Angela still lingered as a significant trauma. I couldn't help but be a bit concerned, so I honestly shared everything with him about Angela. Regarding my ex-fiancé, I even showed him a photo of Angela to gauge his reaction. However, looking at Angela's photo didn't change his expression at all. He casually shifted his gaze away from the photo and gave me a kind, gentle smile. I know this might sound strange, but, back in the day, I was quite popular. I've met many women, prettier and more attractive than your sister. But for some reason, none of them really sparked anything in me. I was beginning to wonder if I'd end up alone, without ever really connecting with someone. But that changed when I met you. What do you mean? I believe I have a good eye for people, thanks to my job. No matter how beautiful someone is or how well dressed, it doesn't compare to inner beauty. Meeting you made me realize that. What do you mean by that? I saw how bright you shine. Huh? When you talk about your work, you're so lively and radiant, it's beautiful. I thought you were wonderful. Not just at work, but also when we're having dinner or on a date. You always seem to enjoy yourself. I could tell you were genuinely having a good time with me. And that you love life. You seemed so brilliantly beautiful to me. What? Wait a minute, this is so embarrassing. I flustered, but Steve continued unabated. Kim, you are beautiful. More beautiful and charming than anyone I've ever met. I've never encountered a woman more wonderful than you. Please, will you consider being in a relationship with me, with the intention of marriage? I truly, from the bottom of my heart, care about you. Stop. It's embarrassing, don't say any more. But Steve's compliments didn't cease. I eventually agreed to start dating him, and his flattering remarks continued for a while. It was so embarrassing. A year later, Steve and I got married, becoming a happily married couple. Our marriage felt even stronger than before, and we enjoyed our life together. We shared household chores. Having lived alone for a long time, Steve might even be better at housework than me. His cooking, especially when I was too tired to lift a finger, was incredibly delicious. We often went out together on our days off. One holiday, we went to look at furniture. That's when we had an encounter with the devil, like something out of a nightmare. Oh? I thought I saw some drab woman here, and it's you. I heard her voice from behind while looking at the bedding section. Even without seeing her face, I knew it was Angela. For years had passed since our last meeting, but she was unforgettable. Angela. There she stood, with Ted, my ex-fiancé, beside her. Angela's appearance seemed harsher than before. Perhaps due to age or her personality coming through more strongly. Ted, too, was smirking next to her, looking somewhat thinner than I remembered. Fancy seeing you here. What are you doing? Nothing special. Just looking at furniture. This place has a lot of expensive imports, you know? It's not really a place for someone like you. I was fed up with Angela's condescending attitude. Ted was nodding in agreement. Exactly. The store's reputation would suffer if people like you started coming here. We'd all be mistaken for poor people. Just leave already. Their remarks were irritating, but arguing would be a waste of time. I chose to stay silent. However, my silence seemed to provoke them further, and they grew louder. Ugh. How annoying. This high-end store is ruined by the likes of poor people coming here. You probably can't afford anything anyway. Right, poor people should just leave. Other customers and staff began to glance over, wondering what was happening. Annoyed, I reached for my husband's hand, intending to leave. However, he didn't move. It was only then that Angela and Ted seemed to notice my husband's presence. Oh? What are you to her? I'm Kim's husband. Angela's eyes widened in shock. Huh? You married this plain Jane? Seriously? That's brave of you. Did you need a maid or something? Hilarious. I do household chores as well. We both work, so it's only natural. Aww. You both work? Poor thing, your wife has to work because you're so poor. How pitiful. Me, on the other hand, I'm a stay-at-home wife living a comfortable life. We eat out more than half the week. We have the money. So we hire someone for housekeeping. Sorry for being on the winning side. Angela stretched her words annoyingly, infuriating me further. She smirked at me. Sorry, but I took the wonderful fiancé. So you ended up in a poor life where you still have to work even after getting married. And with such an unimpressive man. Birds of a feather flock together. Aren't you just upset? Jealous? It's just like you to marry a man who can't even support his wife. Enjoy your life of hardship, you losers. That was the last straw. It was one thing to insult me, but I couldn't tolerate her saying such things about my husband. You know what? Enough. Kim, let it go. Just as I was about to shout, my husband stepped in front of me. Nice to meet you. I'm Steve, the man who married your sister. Even your name is lame. Thank you for that. Here's my business card, by the way. As Ted took the card, my husband continued to look at Angela. You seem to say quite harsh things about Kim. Because it's true. It's my law that ugly women can be told they're ugly. No such law exists. And to me, you're far uglier. Excuse me. Shall we call it the ugliness of one's character? You seem confident in your appearance, but are you not aware that your distorted personality, one that only knows how to look down on others, is showing on the outside? His manner was polite, yet his words were sharply critical. Angela's face quickly turned bright red. Don't joke with me. Where am I ugly? Tell me. In everything, I'm afraid. Truly beautiful people do not envy their sister or steal their fiancés. Huh? When did I ever envy my sister? People aspire to be near and surpass those they admire. Perhaps, to you, Kim is such a person? That's ridiculous. I was taken aback not only by my husband's words but also by Angela's reaction. I had never considered that possibility. Angela always seemed to look down on me. But seeing her shaken made me wonder. If someone doesn't matter to you, you'd simply ignore them. You wouldn't think to take their partner unless you envied something they had. Something you believed you couldn't achieve on your own. Taking it is a way to reassure yourself that you're better, right? It means you lack confidence. Confident people don't need to do such things, they can live proudly without demeaning others. I'm not jealous. By taking something away, you want to feel superior to others, don't you? It means you lack confidence. People with true confidence don't need to do such things. They can live proudly without undermining others. That's not true. As Angela frantically tried to defend herself, her voice weakened. Hey, this name. Suddenly, Ted's loud exclamation broke the brief silence. Looking back and forth between the business card and my husband in disbelief. He shook Angela's shoulder, his face turning pale. Ugh, what's the big deal? This name. I knew it looked familiar, so I looked it up and... Oh. Huh? Steve Johnson? So what? It's the name of the hospital I work at. Huh? The hospital? Oh, you mean Johnson Medical Corporation. Oh. The chairman and director, Dr. Johnson. That's his son. What? What? It's a common last name, it must be someone else. I've seen him at the hospital several times with the chairman. So there's no mistake. I didn't remember clearly because I saw him from a distance. But I knew I'd seen him somewhere. If he's the son, he must be a doctor, right? And the company name on this business card is? The company name. Oh. Just because he's a doctor's son doesn't mean he has to be a doctor. And this company. It's a super famous pharmaceutical company. I heard the previous owner retired and the company was handed down to his grandson. That would be me. As the two panicked, my husband gave a slight bow. What did you say? Awkward. Angela screamed almost like a howl, and Ted seemed like he was about to collapse. My husband calmly informed the visibly pale duo. I met Kim through my work before taking over my grandfather's job. I heard about your sister but never imagined the cruelty to this extent. Well, you know. Angela was at a loss for words, and my husband then turned his gaze to Ted. Helping people requires compassion, yet you mock and look down on others. Who would want to be saved by such a doctor? That's a misunderstanding. Ted attempted to justify himself with a pale face, but my husband sharply retorted. Excuses are unnecessary. I'll discuss this matter with my father. Prepare for the consequences. No, no.
No.
Ted's shoulders slumped in defeat. Angela, still in shock, couldn't recover as we turned our backs on them and left. I sensed we'd never meet them again. With that premonition in my heart, I walked away without looking back. What happened next? Ted wasn't fired but faced a significant pay cut and was removed from any responsible positions. It seems he habitually exhibited arrogant behavior towards others and even treated patients coldly. This led to an inevitable outcome where he was suddenly met with cold stares from everyone around him. It was as if he was sitting on a bed of nails, and in the end, he left as if fleeing from the situation. The community within hospitals spread the word, making reemployment difficult for him, leading to a challenging unemployed life. As for Angela, it was revealed her extravagant spending had already strained their finances, even on Ted's high salary. That explained why Ted had lost so much weight. He was more gaunt than thin. After the pay cut, Angela quickly divorced Ted, thinking she could just find another man. However, it wasn't that easy. My husband had mentioned, and I had noticed too, that Angela's once cute face had become harsher, likely a reflection of her inner self. Perhaps because of this, Angela's period of popularity came to an end. I received a call from our parents saying she came to them in tears, lamenting that no one was paying her any attention despite her claiming, "I'm so cute, why won't anyone spoil me?" Moreover, she even said she managed to catch a good man. I need to surpass her. She obviously refers to me. Is there some law in her world that dictates she must outdo me? My husband once mentioned that, deep down, she might actually admire me. Perhaps there's some truth to that. However, that doesn't excuse her actions. In the end, our parents, unimpressed by her pleas and considering it a case of just desserts, turned her away. She vanished into the night, and her whereabouts since then remain unknown. I doubt I'll hear Angela's name again in the future. Meanwhile, freed from the toxic entanglement with Angela and her husband, I've been living peaceful days. My marriage is tranquil. I'm passionate about my work and living fulfilling days. And soon, our family will grow to 3. Gazing at the computer monitor, I gently caressed my growing belly.